What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Top Chill Play. You have rewatched an anime you loved as a kid and felt something completely different. Not just nostalgia, something deeper. The show did not change, you did. And suddenly, things that went over your head at 15 hit you somewhere real at 25 or 30. Today, we are counting down the 12 anime that hit completely differently when you watch them as an adult. These are the shows that reward life experience. The ones that were always great, but that you were not ready for the first time around. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 12, Sword Art Online Season 1. You probably watched this as a teenager and thought it was the greatest thing ever made. Then you rewatched it as an adult and had some complicated feelings. Here is the thing. The first arc of SAO is genuinely brilliant in one specific way. It asks a question that hits completely differently when you are older. If you are trapped somewhere with no escape, at what point do you stop waiting to be rescued and just start living? As a kid, you watched it as an action show. As an adult, you watch Kirito and Asuna building a life inside a death game, and you understand that the show is actually about choosing presence over escape. About finding home in impossible circumstances. The floor clearing, the side quests, the marriage, the house by the lake, none of that felt important when you were young. As an adult, those are the scenes that stay with you. SAO Season 1 is not the show you remember. It is deeper than you gave it credit for. Watch it again. Number 11 is Neon Genesis Evangelion. When you watched this as a teenager, you probably thought it was a cool mecha show that got weird at the end. As an adult, you realize it was never a mecha show. Evangelion is a show about depression, about the terror of intimacy, about a father who cannot love his son and a son who cannot stop wanting to be loved anyway. Director Hideaki Anno made this show while experiencing a severe mental health crisis, and every frame reflects that. Shinji's inability to get in the robot is not cowardice. It is the paralysis of someone who has learned that trying means failing and failing means being abandoned. As an adult who has felt that specific fear, the show lands in a completely different place than it did when you were 15. The last two episodes are not weird. They are the most honest depiction of what a mental breakdown looks and feels like that anime has ever produced. Evangelion as an adult is not a mecha show, it is a mirror, and it shows you things you might not be ready to see. Number 10 is Clannad After Story. As a teenager, this show made you cry because it was sad. As an adult, it makes you cry because you understand exactly what is happening and why. After Story follows Tomoya and Nagisa into adulthood, marriage, work, the mundane struggle of building a life with someone. The show takes real time showing you what that actually looks like, and then it shows you what happens when that life falls apart. As a teenager, you grieve the loss of a character. As an adult, you grieve the loss of a specific kind of hope. The hope that love is enough to protect the people you care about. Clannad After Story is about discovering that it is not, and finding a way to keep going anyway. The supernatural element at the end means something completely different when you are older. It is not a plot device. It is about what we would give to have one more moment with the people we lost. Clannad After Story hits hardest in your late 20s. If you have not rewatched it since you were a teenager, you have not actually seen it yet. Number 9 is Mushishi. This show requires patience. As a teenager, patience is the hardest thing to give an anime. As an adult, it is the exact thing you are looking for. Ginko travels through a quiet, ancient Japan studying Mushi, mysterious life forms that exist on the boundary between the visible and invisible world. Each episode is self-contained. There is no tournament arc, no power system, no villain to defeat. What Mushishi is about is something you can only understand after you have lived enough to feel the weight of it. It is about how much of life happens outside of our control. About the things that shape us without our permission. About accepting the world as it is rather than as we want it to be. Every episode of Mushishi is a small meditation on human experience. As an adult, you have the context to feel every one of them. Mushishi is the anime that rewards the version of you that has lived. Put it on when you need the world to slow down. Number 8 is March Comes in Like a Lion. On the surface, it is a show about a teenage professional shogi player. What it is actually about is what chronic depression feels like from the inside. Rei Kiriyama lives alone. He is gifted, isolated, and incapable of asking for help. He moves through his days, performing the motions of a life while feeling entirely disconnected from it. As a teenager, you might have found this slow. As an adult who has ever felt that specific hollowness, it is one of the most accurate depictions of depression in any medium. The show does not dramatize the depression. It does not turn it into a plot point. It just shows you what it looks like from inside. The silence of an apartment that feels too large. The effort it takes to do the smallest things. The confusion of feeling nothing when you know you should feel something. And then it shows you what it looks like when someone chooses to care about you anyway. Not because they have to, just because they see you. March Comes in Like a Lion is the show for every adult who has ever felt invisible. It sees you. That matters more than you might expect. Number 7 is Vinland Saga Season 2. As a teenager, you probably loved Season 1 for the action and found Season 2 slow and disappointing. As an adult, Season 2 is the better season. No argument. Thorfinn has spent his entire life defined by hatred. Every morning he wakes up, and the only reason to keep going is revenge. Then the revenge is gone, and there is nothing left. Season 2 is about what happens when the thing that gave your life meaning disappears, and you have to find a reason to exist without it. That is not a teenager's problem. That is an adult's problem. The specific terror of realizing that the goal you organized your entire identity around is either gone or hollow, and you have no idea who you are without it. Thorfinn's journey in Season 2 from broken slave to someone with a genuine reason to live is one of the most moving character arcs in recent anime precisely because it does not rush. It earns every step. Vinland Saga. Season 2 is a show about rebuilding yourself from nothing. As an adult, you understand exactly how hard that is. Number 6 is Nana. This show is about two young women trying to figure out who they are in their mid-20s. If you watched it as a teenager, you watched it as a romance. If you watch it now, you watch it as a warning. Nana Osaki is chasing a dream that is slowly destroying her. Nana Komatsu is chasing love in ways that consistently hurt her. Neither of them is wrong exactly. Both of them are making the specific mistakes that people make in their 20s when they have not yet learned that wanting something badly does not make it good for you. The show understands something that most anime never attempt: that you can love someone completely and still be wrong for each other. That growing up sometimes means growing apart from the people you thought would be there forever. That the gap between who you want to be and who you actually are is where most of your life happens. Nana is unfinished. The manga went on hiatus and never returned. The show ends without a proper conclusion, and somehow that makes it feel even more real. Nana is the anime that understands your 20s better than most people in your life do. Watch it and then call someone you have been meaning to call. Number 5 is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. You probably loved this as a teenager for the action and the adventure. As an adult, you love it for something else entirely. Brotherhood is built on one philosophical idea: equivalent exchange. You cannot gain something without giving something of equal value. As a teenager, that reads as a magic system rule. As an adult, it reads as one of the most honest descriptions of how life actually works. Every relationship in Brotherhood costs something. Every victory is paid for. The show never lets its characters win without earning it, and it never lets them earn it without paying a real price. Edward's refusal to use human transmutation, even when it would solve everything, is not stubbornness. It is integrity. As an adult, you understand exactly how rare and costly that is. The ending hits harder too. When Edward gives up alchemy to bring Alphonse back, you understand it differently at 30 than you did at 15. You have had things you loved that you gave up for someone else. You know what that costs. Brotherhood is one of the greatest stories ever told in any medium. As an adult, you finally have the context to feel all of it. Life do. Watch it and then call someone you have been meaning to call. Number 4 is Cowboy Bebop. This show has always been considered a masterpiece. As a teenager, you appreciated it. As an adult, you feel it in your chest. Cowboy Bebop is about people who are running from their pasts. Not metaphorically, literally. Spike is running from a life he walked away from. Jet is running from a betrayal he never fully processed. Faye is running from a self she cannot remember. Everyone on the Bebop is in motion because stopping means facing something they are not ready to face. As a teenager, you watch the style and the action and the cool music. As an adult, you watch Spike sit alone on the ship after another job goes sideways and you recognize that specific exhaustion. The kind that comes not from physical tiredness, but from carrying something heavy for too long. The ending of Cowboy Bebop is not ambiguous. Spike goes back because he has nothing left to run toward. As an adult, you understand what that decision costs and what it means. Cowboy Bebop is the anime that understands adult loneliness better than almost anything else ever made. See you, Space Cowboy! Number 3 is Fruits Basket, 2019. As a teenager, this is a touching romance about a girl who befriends a cursed family. As an adult, it is one of the most devastating explorations of childhood trauma in anime. Every member of the Soma family carries damage that was done to them before they were old enough to understand what was happening. The Zodiac Curse is not just a supernatural element. It is a metaphor for the ways families pass harm down through generations, for the ways parents make their children carry weights that were never theirs to carry. Toru's relentless kindness reads differently as an adult too. As a teenager, she seems almost unrealistically pure. As an adult, you recognize her kindness as a survival strategy. Someone who learned early that making herself useful was the safest way to avoid being a burden. That is not innocence, that is a wound. The complete 2019 adaptation includes the full ending that the original anime never reached. The resolution of Kyo and Toru's relationship earns every tear because the show spent 3 seasons making you understand exactly what it cost both of them to get there. Fruits Basket 2019 is the anime that understands what it means to heal from something you did not choose. As an adult, that hits differently than you can imagine. Number 2 is Monster. This is the anime that most people discover as adults and cannot believe they missed for so long. If you watched it young, you respected it. If you watch it now, you are not ready for what it does to you. Dr. Kenzo Tenma is a brilliant surgeon who makes one decision based on conscience instead of politics, saves a child's life instead of a politician's, and watches his entire career collapse as a result. Years later, that child has grown into one of the most dangerous human beings alive, and Tenma feels responsible. Monster is not about good versus evil. It is about what happens to a good person in a world that consistently punishes goodness. About the specific guilt of someone who did the right thing and has to live with the consequences. About whether a person can truly be beyond redemption. The show takes its time. 74 episodes of mounting dread and philosophical complexity. As an adult, you have the patience and the life experience to let it do its work. The payoff is one of the most complete narrative experiences in any medium. Monster is the anime that proves the medium can do anything literature can do, and do it better. As an adult, this is required viewing. No exceptions. And the number 1 anime that hits completely different when you watch it as an adult is Berserk 1997. As a teenager, this is a brutal, dark fantasy about a mercenary who fights monsters. As an adult, it is one of the saddest stories ever told. Guts has never been given anything. Every good thing in his life, every moment of warmth, every friendship, every reason to keep going, he fought for from nothing with no one helping him. And then he met Griffith. And for the first time in his life, someone saw him, someone chose him, and Guts, who had never belonged anywhere, finally felt like he did. You probably watched the Golden Age arc as a teenager and thought it was a great action story with a shocking ending. As an adult, you watch it as a story about what it means to find your people. About the specific vulnerability of finally letting yourself belong somewhere after years of being alone, and about what it costs when that is taken from you. The eclipse is not just a plot event, it is the worst possible outcome of trusting someone completely. As an adult who has loved people and lost them or been betrayed by them, the eclipse lands in a part of you that teenage you did not have yet. Berserk 1997 is the greatest tragedy in anime. As an adult, you finally have everything it needs to destroy you completely. Watch it. And that is our top 12 anime that hit completely different when you watch them as an adult. Which one rewatched you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear the stories. If this list reminded you of something you needed to rewatch, hit the like button and subscribe to Top Chill Play for daily anime rankings. I will see you in the next one.